evening, Toastmasters of District 82. This is part 2. But before we start the video, I wanted to personally thank you for all your support, encouragement and feedback for this series, Saturday Talk with the Superstars. If you would like to be part of these interviews with the world champions themselves, drop us a note. Again, to pr.ovation2019@gmail.com. What's coming up are interviews with Darren Lacroix, Mark Brown, Jim Key, and many other world champions of public speaking. Ovation is all about celebrating endless dreams. So if you have ever dreamt about talking to a world champion, grab this opportunity. We hope you enjoy part 2 as much as you enjoyed part 1. And if you missed part 1, the comments or the description will show the link to part 1 as well. Enjoy both these videos. Like the video, share it with your friends, and do subscribe to this channel because more and more great content are coming up and you really wouldn't want to miss it. Remember, this is Ovation 2019, celebration of endless dreams. If you have not registered yet, follow the links given at the end of this video and do register.
Next question is from Meenu. She's from Chennai Speakers Forum. How did you feel the night before the final?
The night before the finals, I was practicing a lot. I was very, I wouldn't say nervous, but I was very excited. It still felt surreal. It still felt like I wasn't there. It's still kind of fuzzy in my mind because I still don't really believe it. But the night before, I practiced. I was in the hotel room of a few of my district leaders. We all gathered together in a hotel room and they were evaluating me. They were giving me feedback. They were making sure every little detail was in order. They were correcting everything and making sure everything was clean and concise and making sure it was smooth. And I went to sleep and I got a few hours of sleep and I woke up the morning of the contest at about 4 a.m. and I started practicing again. I was in my PJs practicing in the Marriott Marquis, practicing my speech. So the night before, I was very excited, but it was all about preparation.
Okay, so the next question is from Harshita. She's from TCS Maitri Champions Toastmasters Club. Did you dream of being the WCPS? Was there any moment when you really thought you will become WCPS?
Honestly, throughout the contest, it was always in the back of my mind, like I could be, it was a possibility, but it was nothing that I had set myself up to believe. I had never told myself like, you're the 2018 World Champion of Public Speaking. It's yours. You have it. Don't worry about it. It's yours. Even at the contest, when I was sitting there after I had delivered my speech, I still didn't think that I had won or even placed because at that level, everyone is so amazing. So I never had it set in my mind that I was going to be the next world champion of public speaking. When they called my name, I was completely shocked and surprised. I don't know if you guys saw the video of when Lark called my name, but I was like, ah! It was unbelievable. So I never really had it in my mind that I would be the next world champion. But I'm so glad to be her.
Okay, so the next question is from Hingston Lowell. He's from Pinnacle Advanced Toastmasters Club. You had a Toastmasters story in your winning speech. How essential do you feel it is to have a Toastmasters story in the speech? Do you think adding a Toastmasters experience in a speech will give an edge to the contestants?
That's debatable. that is debatable because World Champion Darren Lacroix is opposed. He does not like for a Toastmaster to talk about their Toastmasters experience at a Toastmasters contest. He does not like it. But personally, for me, I wanted to share that because it was a part of my journey. I don't think it gives you extra points or it takes it away. It depends on how you tell the story and how it resonates with your audience. I don't think it's a must-have. I don't think you need it. But at the same time, if you add it, I wouldn't say omit it. I completely feel like it's up to you and how that piece of your story will resonate with your entire audience and how relevant it is to your actual speech. Because if you're talking about a story that has nothing to do with Toastmasters and then you try to throw it in there, don't just try to force it in. If it fits, let it flow. Don't try to force it in because you think that that's what's going to help you win. You have to be true to your story. So I don't think you necessarily need it, but if it works, go ahead and use it.
Lovely, Ramona. Thank you.
Back to you, Rax.
Yeah. So the next question was something that I wanted to ask you, but I think you have already answered it. I had penned down the question that said, how did you really feel when your name was announced and you walked up onto the stage to get it? We saw the video and the question was inspired by that. But I'll move on to the next question because you've already answered this. The next question comes up from a young college student, Ashik Khan from VIT Toastmasters Club. He asks you, how has life changed after you became a world champion of public speaking?
Personally, I embraced all the change and all the publicity. However, just because you become the world champion of public speaking, you don't have to be in the spotlight. There are some world champions who we never hear from again. There are others like Darren LaCroix and Muhammad Katani and Mark Brown, and Mark Brown won in the 90s, and he's still speaking internationally. It really depends on how you want to take it, what path you want to take. This is my dream. So once I was blessed with this platform, I'm taking full advantage of it. I have accepted every interview. I've accepted every request to be in newsletters all around the world. Any opportunity I get to speak internationally, I'm taking it. Anytime I get to travel, anytime I see someone in public and they say, oh my goodness, you're the world champion of public speaking. Yes, I am. Would you like to take a selfie? So for me, it's just the publicity. People know who I am now. People recognize me. The video on YouTube has almost 500,000 views, which is outrageous. Life has just changed because people know who I am now. And people actually want to know who I am. And I'm embracing it and I'm accepting it and I'm taking full advantage of this opportunity. And so I'm on my way to being a celebrity. Yay!
And you are one in many Toastmasters' eyes, Ramona. You are really one. And the next question actually reflects that. It comes from Manikantan Balasubramanian, who's also the chair of Ovation 2019. He is from TCS Maitri Champions Toastmasters. And he asks, what would your advice be to budding Toastmasters who aspire to be the next Ramona Smith?
Find yourself. Don't try to be Ramona Smith. Be who you are. I really feel like the reason why I won the World Championship of Public Speaking this year was because when I got on that final stage, I was exactly who I am. I was myself. I didn't try to be like anyone else. I didn't try to emulate anyone else's style. I know who I am, and I'm fine with who I am, failures and all. I'm fine with who I am. I'm content with the woman who I am and who I'm going to continue to evolve into. And I brought that on stage with me. When I was at the semifinals, I saw a lot of people trying to be previous world champions, and they didn't make it to the final stage. Or I saw a lot of people paying top dollar to be coached by other people, and you still see traces of those other champions. I feel like the best advice that I can give any aspiring world champion is to understand who you are and make sure you leave a piece of you with the audience that's in front of you. Get to know yourself, get to know who you are, but it takes hard work, it takes practice. You have to get feedback, you have to be evaluated, you have to understand what it takes and what is going to happen once you do become the world champion. Should you become the next world champion, what are you going to give back? Do you just want the title, or are you going to use this platform to help other people? Are you going to be arrogant? Are you going to be self-indulged? Or are you going to use it to travel and speak to other people and inspire them? So if you want to be the next world champion, work hard, be yourself, have a solid support system, and understand why you actually want the title. Is it for yourself, or is it for the betterment of these 16,000 other clubs that are going to be looking up to you next?
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Ramona. Naveen, to your set?
Yes, Rags. So the next question is from Sai Kiran. He's from Chennai Communicators Club. What would you say was the most challenging aspect of the WCPS journey?
The most challenging part of the journey for me was probably trying to let me take my time with that. I don't want to rush that one. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely okay.
Okay, my biggest challenge. I don't think I've been asked that a lot of times, or if I have, I don't remember. I don't remember specifically anything being extremely challenging, but what was kind of nerve-wracking was trying to figure out what I wanted to speak about. Trying to figure out if the audience was going to accept the words that I had to give. I was very confident going through the club level, through the semifinals level, because I had the same speech over and over and over. I knew that people enjoyed it. I knew that the audience loved it. But you know that when you get to the finals, you have to have a completely different speech. So I think the thing that I struggle with, especially on that large scale of that international audience filled with 2,000 people from 160 plus different countries, was, can my story be a story that everybody all over the world can relate to? That probably was the biggest challenge for me. Is the speech and the story that I'm telling able to be understood by people who may not speak English as a first language, people who may not know what boxing is, people who may have never heard of Elton John when I said, I'm still standing, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was risky. The risk of giving this speech that some people may not understand, that was probably the biggest challenge.
Okay. Thank you, Ramona. So the next question is from Arvind. He's from Ericsson Toastmasters Club. One advice or suggestion that you received which you will never forget?
One piece of advice that I was given that I'll never forget? That's a tough one. Let me think. Because when you're going through the contest, so many people want to give you so much feedback about so many things. Let me see. Is this just in life, or should this be Toastmasters related?
It could be anything. It could be either.
It could be anything, Ramona.
I think the best piece of advice that has stuck with me for all these years was from my father. And unfortunately, my dad passed away in 2015. But he told me that first of all, he admired me because he used the phrase, you always stick to your guns. And for people who may not know what that means I always stay true to myself. And he said, you keep doing that and that'll take you very far. And that's what I've done. That's really what I've done. I always stick to my guns. If I believe in something, I believe in it. If I have a goal that I want to accomplish, I accomplish it. If I have my mind focused on something, I achieve it. So that's probably the best piece of advice. I love the way you stick to your guns, and I hope you continue to do that. From my father, he told me that.
Stick to your guns.
Back to you, Rags.
You will remember that. Stick to your guns.
Stick to your guns, yes.
Yes, and have a license if you have a gun.
The final two questions, Ramona. We have been talking about your World Championship journey, how life has been before and after. But I think it all started off with your club. So how important would you say is attending your club meetings regularly? Because a lot of Toastmasters come in and they see the entire world of Toastmasters in front of them, and they sometimes tend to forget their club, their roots. And this question comes to us from a Sri Lankan Toastmaster, Zamani, and she would like to hear from you, your experience in your club
And what would you say, how important you think is attending the club meetings regularly?
First and foremost, I feel like you have to find a club that feels good to you, that you're comfortable with, that you fit into, that you mesh well with. You have to find a club that fits your personality. I've been so lucky because in Los Angeles and in Ohio and now with the Cypher Super Speakers in Houston, Texas, all these clubs are so near and dear to me because I love all of the people in these clubs. I love the format of our meetings, and I actually enjoy being with my club members. So first and foremost, visit different clubs before you join to figure out which club style and which club's culture works well with your personality. That's first and foremost. But your club, and it's funny that you mentioned the word roots, where you come from. Because as the world champion, people see my branches and the buds and the flowers. But the Cypher Super Speakers was I was rooted in that. That was my foundation. And my grandmother used to always tell me, never forget where you come from. And I come from the Cypher Super Speakers. Before I was a world champion of public speaking, I was just a member of the Cypher Super Speakers. There were people in my club who actually gave me rides to the competitions when my car was down, to the contest when my car was down. There were people in my club who brought me into their homes and took time out of their day to listen to my speech and to critique and evaluate my speeches. There are people in my club who, when I came back, celebrated me and put on Q&As for me and were accepting of the fact that other people want to come in and visit just because I'm the world champion. So attending club meetings regularly, it means a lot. It shows how you appreciate the people around you. It gives you an idea of how Toastmasters is going to be represented as a whole. It gives you support. It gives you support because these are people who you're spending between 60 and 90 minutes of your week with every single week, or depending on how often you guys meet. And these are people who become your friends. And some of those friends end up becoming family. And say, for instance, I didn't win. If I would have disregarded my club, I wouldn't have had anybody to hug me or shake my hand and say, it's okay. We still love you. We still want you to be the best version of yourself. So attending club meetings is important because you have to play a part in your club. As a member, it's one body and all of us are members. So if you're the arm and you go missing, then that's going to affect the rest of the body because you play an important role as a member in that club. You learn about each individual. You learn more about Toastmasters as a whole. You learn and grow together. And I'm passionate about my club, as you can see, because they've just given me so much support. And you have to make sure that once you join for the long run. You don't just join for a little bit of time to become the world champion and then you leave. Like I said, I just spoke at my club on Monday. And so it's just very important for the support, for the loyalty, and to make sure you're contributing as much as you can to your club to make it be the best version of itself that it can be.
Beautifully put, Ramona. I remember what my mentor used to say. She used to keep telling me, Raghavan, being with the club is almost like being in a relationship. You have to remain committed, you have to remain loyal, and the more you give, the more you get. Yes. I think that's beautifully reflected in your speech as well. Thank you so much. So we have come to the end of this interview. Ramona, I can't thank you enough for your time to us. But before we wrap up, the entire forum that has brought us together, the reason that we are speaking today together, Ovation 2019, the annual district conference of District 82. Tell us, why should any Toastmaster of District 82, in your opinion, attend Ovation 2019?
You need to. You must. It's not optional. You have to attend Ovation 2019 because you are a representative of District 82. Don't you want to show the world how strong your clubs are? Don't you want to show the world how strong your district is? This is your opportunity to show the entire world how District 82 represents at Ovation 2019. Not to mention that it's going to be at one of the best venues in Chennai. So you are in for a special treat. From my understanding, that stage is almost as big as the World Championship stage. So you'll get to get a glimpse of the World Championship at your own Ovation 2019. Also, you're going to get 4 days of learning and training from 10 different keynote speakers. So you're getting it from different perspectives and different angles. And if you don't like one speaker, you have 9 others to choose from. Also, this is the first time in the history of District 82 where you can see all 4 contests. It's going to be amazing. The next world champion may be gracing that stage at Ovation 2019. It's going to be a huge event that you don't want to miss. I guarantee if you miss it, you're going to miss a lot. So you must go support your district and show the world that District 82 can be the best in the world. Ovation 2019, you have to be there.